All right, welcome.
Thanks.
How's it going?
Really good.
Yeah,
Really good. How are you?
good.
Good.
Um,
Very good.
so Lacey is here on F3. I guess that's what I'm going to call it now. I don't know. I
I
haven't
love the
decided.
name. I like it. And the logo. I was going
Thank
to
you,
tell you,
thank
it's
you.
very cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Shar made most of it. So
I actually heard you mention that I didn't have had no idea she was an artist. I had no
yeah,
idea. So it's cool.
yeah. So she'll draw or paint, especially if you have an idea of what you want it to be. She's really good at that stuff. And then she does some just like graphic design stuff. But yeah,
Nice.
so she did that for a while, especially for Katie. She did graphic design and photography and stuff like the Photoshop
Okay.
work. So
Cool. Very nice.
yeah,
Well, the logo is awesome. I
thank
like
you,
it.
thank you.
And the name.
Yeah.
Both.
So I just want to know about you. So let's start with where you grew up. How was that?
I really don't have that exciting of a life.
I don't believe you.
Oh, I don't. I actually grew up in Fountain Green.
Hmm.
So not far from here. Um, Born and raised here in Sanpete County, and I love it. I would be lying if I said I didn't want to get away from here though, because when I graduated high school, that was the first thing that I did. Um,
You moved right after high school.
yeah,
Where'd you go?
Orem. So
Oh,
far.
super far.
So far. I
That's
was
good.
really adventurous. But yeah, I was like, get me out of here. But only went to Orem, but
Hey,
came
that's all right.
back
That's still
pretty
out.
quick. Yeah, I was out of Sanpete. I
Yeah.
thought I was going places.
Right.
But didn't stick. Didn't stick.
Nice.
So
So grew up in Fountain Green. How
mhm.
many people in your family?
Oh yeah, so I am the oldest of four
Okay.
children with my mom and dad, and we actually grew up right across the street. Like our whole block was pretty much family, which was interesting and fun. But I just remember as a kid, like we would just be back and forth between my grandmas, and then we had cousins across the street. Um, yeah, and just typical small town living.
Girl.
Like we were riding dirt bikes and playing. We had a creek in front of our house, and we were always catching water skeeters and building forts and just typical fun kid things that I wish my kids had more of
I was just gonna
now.
ask, do your kids do any of those
No,
things?
it's so interesting and it's sad. It makes
Mm-hmm.
me sad because I'm like, you know, I remember like they're like core memories from when I
Yeah.
was a kid. But and I'm sure they still have really good core memories too, but it's
Right.
just different.
Yeah.
It's so interesting that it's so different in
Yeah.
such a short period of time.
It makes me really wonder, like, is there a difference because there needs to be? Like they're preparing and gearing up for the future of whatever this world's going to become? Or is it just that we're like shifted enough and have advanced enough as a society that it's just a different norm, you know?
I think it's probably both, you know,
Probably a little
because I
bit
feel like you could probably say the same thing about like generations before us. Like,
to some extent.
yeah. And so it's probably a mixture of both, but
And really, when you think about it, like historically as humans, like it's very small. Like the change from a horse and living in a cabin and fighting for your life and raising all the food you're going to eat to grocery stores and everything is relatively small.
yeah, right.
So we could change quickly.
Yeah, it's
But
insane. So yeah, so that was always, I mean, I had a really good childhood. I feel like growing up and was really close with my siblings. My little sister, she's only 11 months younger than me, so my mom was busy and we were pretty close. We still are. And then I have two younger brothers, Caden, who passed, and James, and they're like 6 and 8 years younger than me. So
okay, a
there's a
little
little
bit of a
bit more of a
spread.
gap there.
Yeah.
But yeah, just typical. And then I went to North Sanpete,
Did you
graduated from North Sanpete.
did you do sports or
Yes.
anything?
Yes.
Okay.
I played soccer and I ran cross country for 1 year. And then soccer and cross country proved to be a little bit too much because they were the same season.
Yeah.
So I stuck with soccer and then I played basketball and softball. So
Sweet.
was always doing a sport depending on the season, which I loved. It was some of my most favorite memories.
Yeah.
Um, and also taught me so much. I I think what sports teach people is invaluable.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful for that. I had some really good coaches. Um, and was just a good experience. So enjoyed all
Awesome.
of that. I miss softball. I miss playing. I was a catcher and I miss that so much. Like of all the things, I think that's probably what I miss the most. So,
That's good.
yeah. Yeah. And then I graduated from North St. Pete, went to Orem. So I went to Utah Valley, changed what I was going to college for a million times, which is interesting because now we have a daughter who is, you know, she's a sophomore. So she's trying to think about what she's doing after.
Yeah.
And it's always been a push of like, probably college, probably college. And now we're kind of like, well, maybe you don't go right to college. Maybe you take a break, see what you actually want to do, like go explore things and find out like what actually interests you and makes you excited about life. And
Yeah. The landscape of higher education has changed substantially from when I was young and I mean, we're
yeah,
pretty much the same age.
yeah,
So when we were young till now, like I feel like it's almost night and day different on like how important it is
mm-hmm.
and well, not necessarily how important it is because it's still important in everyone's minds, it seems like, but the value isn't what you got out of it back then,
No.
you know?
Well, I think it too depends on like what you're interested in.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's incredible value if you want to become a doctor or you
Right.
want,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's kind of less of an emphasis on things that maybe you get a degree as a formality, but there's not a specific job that it maybe
Yeah. Like computer
ties to.
science is what I see a
Yes.
lot, and
Yeah.
it's not really tied to a career path.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone's like, well, they've got a computer science degree, and I'm like,
What does that mean?
awesome.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I only went to um, Utah Valley for I think 1 or 2 semesters.
What were you gonna be?
Dental hygienist.
Dental hygienist.
That did not last.
Found
Um,
out you didn't like tongues.
I didn't even get that far into it. I did not even get far enough into it to realize that it probably wasn't the profession for me. It was more of like I did it and then life happened and um I was actually kind of headed down a not really great path.
Hmm.
And one of my really close friends passed away in a car accident
Hmm.
that was from here. And uh it just kind of made me move back home. Corey and I, my husband now, we dated all through high school. So we're kind of the high school sweetheart, typical, not typical, but dated all through high school on and off after I had graduated. And then, so when I moved back, then we kind of reconnected and um, ended up getting married. And yeah,
Sweet.
yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, it is awesome. I'm really grateful. He's great. And yeah, it was a wild ride for sure, but
Yeah.
I'm grateful
Life
for
is
where we're
funner
at.
with a friend, though.
Yeah,
So,
it is. It's great.
so dental hygienist.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come back down here, and did you try to go to Snow, or what were your plans?
Yes, I did go to Snow. I ended up
Okay.
just graduating with an Associates of Science degree.
That's still a degree.
Yeah, well, when you think about all the college classes I took in high school, then all the college classes I took at Utah Valley, and then all the college classes I took at Snow, it probably should be more like, a bachelor's degree, but it's an Associate of Science degree from Snow College. When I went to Snow College, I intended to be a teacher.
Okay.
I could never be a teacher.
What did you want to teach?
I did elementary.
Elementary.
I did
okay.
want to do elementary,
Okay.
which now I have kids and I'm like, no, nope. I actually adore teachers because I'm like, I could never do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a general Associates of Science. I don't even know.
Yeah, it's something like that. I don't
Yeah.
remember how they define.
Yeah.
all
And my
that
job
stuff.
that I have now has nothing to do with any of them.
What do you do
And
now?
doesn't even require a degree. I process mortgage loans for Cache Valley Bank.
Oh, okay.
So,
So still the same thing from
Utah Heritage.
we used to work together a little bit on mortgages back in the day.
Yes.
Okay.
Utah Heritage
Okay.
Credit
Yeah,
Union.
yeah.
Me and you and Carl.
Yep.
Yep.
And then you switched to Wells Fargo, or
I
no.
quit, actually. I quit the credit union because I had a baby.
Okay.
So I was just kind of not working for a while. And then Carl moved to Cache Valley Bank.
Yeah.
And then he called me after Cooper, my middle baby,
Uh-huh.
and was like, would you process mortgage loans for me? So they let me bring my baby to work. It was the
Sweet.
best. And now I work from home. So
Which is even better.
Yeah, I mean, it's the greatest, and I work with some really great people. I'm super grateful for my job, and I love it. It's challenging enough, and
But it's not with Carl.
no, because he
He
left
left. Yeah.
again.
I didn't even know that. I was down in
Yeah.
Manti one time and I needed to get something notarized, and I just Google searched notary near me, and it came up with like Central Utah title or whatever.
Oh,
It's not Central
professional
Utah, but
title.
professional title.
Yeah.
And it was like right around the corner and it was open. And so I call him like, hey, I need to get something notarized. Do you have some time? He's like, yeah, come on over. And so I go there and he's like, hey, Morgan, how's it going? I'm like, the heck? Where did you leave that? Like,
So
when did
funny.
this happen?
I know. I was shocked he left again too, but it's been a good move for him, I think. So
He seemed happy. I mean,
yeah,
this was like a year ago, so maybe he's not
yeah.
anymore. I don't know, but
No, I'm pretty sure he
hopefully
is.
he is.
So yeah, it's crazy. Things just
Yeah.
move. Life's always pivoting and moving and changing, and
Yeah,
so
it
it's good.
is. So 3 kids, you said?
Yep. We have three.
3 kids?
Oldest is 15. So she's a sophomore at North St. Pete. It's
Mm-hmm.
funny, full circle, you
Right.
know? And then our boy, he's 10. So he's in 5th grade. And then our baby, she's 6.
Sweet.
So
That's a lot of life, but a
it
lot of
is.
fun life.
It is a lot. They give me a run for my money, for sure. For sure.
Are they in sports too?
Tenley cheers.
Okay. Which
Uh,
is more sports than sports most of the time.
yeah, it's actually, I was, so shocked, actually, the physical demand that it is for the cheerleaders. Like, it's pretty insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is her 2nd year cheering and she's loved it. She's liked
Great.
it. Cooper just started tackle football. John's actually his coach.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's been so great for him. It's a challenge because
Mm-hmm.
Cooper's kind of a bigger kid, but it's been good for him. I think it's gonna be really good. And then Collins, she's still figuring out what she likes,
Yeah.
but we just
she'll
put
be
her in
fine.
everything,
Yeah.
she'll figure it out. So
Sweet.
I always am like, as long as you're involved in something, like I don't necessarily care what it is. Of course, I would prefer to go and watch softball or basketball or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
because those are the things that I kind of was interested in. But it's funny when your kids start doing something, it doesn't necessarily matter because you're just going and you enjoy watching them
Yeah.
succeed and excel at things that they're enjoying doing. But I always am just like, I don't care what it is. Like, find something that interests you,
Mm-hmm.
stick with it, because I mean, even cheer just teaches so many things,
Mm-hmm.
so many life lessons,
Yeah, just the
teamwork and grit and
discipline. Yep.
resiliency and discipline and so many things. So I think it's important that kids stay involved. Keeps them out of trouble too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
So,
huge. And coaches are a big influence in kids' lives.
oh,
And
so
it can
much.
be like positive at the time or it can be negative at the time, but I guarantee it's positive no matter what it is. Like even if your coach is angry at your child or whatever, like it's going to help them grow,
Yeah.
and that was the first time my oldest ever stood up to somebody that was yelling at him was his coach,
Mm.
cussed at him on the court in a basketball game, told him to stop doing it.
Oh my gosh.
And he did it anyway and looked over at the coach and the coach freaked out on him again. And it was like he's not, our oldest is like the people pleaser.
Okay.
He wants everyone to be happy. And so he's not one, he'll go out of his way to make people happy. But he like in the game, what he felt like he was doing was the right thing to do to move the needle.
Mm-hmm.
And so he did what he thought he should do. And the coach was like, "Don't do it anymore." But I mean,
No. Yeah.
the growth from that,
Yeah.
I love it.
How much do you learn?
Yeah.
And a good coach, I mean, kudos to anyone who's coaching, but
Seriously.
I feel like there are certain people who just make really incredible coaches.
Mhm.
They care about winning, yes, but they care more about like character that they're building in kids. And I was really fortunate to have some of that while I was participating in competitive sports in high school. So, and I've seen that still, even with Tenley and John and all of that. It's nice to know that people care enough to invest their time,
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
that.
It seems like a
So-
pretty thankless job a lot of the time.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know?
1,000%. I mean, you
Yeah.
definitely aren't making a living coaching.
Nope.
So, but
Yeah.
yeah, I am really grateful and know what my experience was. So I hope that my kids get the same
Yeah.
kind of thing, in different ways, obviously. But
Yeah. So in 2020, there was a change in your life other than COVID? Was it 2020?
There was, yeah.
Okay, let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, so October 2020 is my oldest younger brother. So Caden.
Okay.
He died by suicide.
Okay.
And yeah, it was a very life-shifting um thing. I mean, it just rocked my world, my whole family's world. I mean, in ways that I never dreamed. Um, it's interesting because we've had close family members pass from suicide previously. I
Hmm.
had an uncle and an aunt both die by suicide when I was young, not super young. Like I was probably 17-ish when my uncle passed and like 24 when my aunt passed,
Hmm.
both by suicide. Um, and then my brother passed in 2020. And it's interesting even to think of it. I'm kind of getting off topic, but
No,
it's
you're good. There's no
interesting
off
even,
topic.
okay. It's interesting even to think of it from the perspective of, I mean, obviously I was at different stages in my life when all of those three occurred, but when like my uncle and my aunt both passed away, it was pretty mm, not talked about
Mm.
in regards to like, yeah, they died by suicide or they were struggling with mental health or you know, it was kind of just like, I don't want to say brushed under the rug because it wasn't like hidden, but it wasn't openly talked about.
Yeah, it's not like when someone dies in a car crash or dies of natural causes or a disease where it's
Hmm.
like, oh, it was cancer or oh, it was,
Right.
this. It was more like, I know what you mean. It's like kind of hush hush, but
Yeah. Like
no.
no one's trying to hide it, but it's
Yeah.
just not like people just don't talk about it. Like
Yeah.
it's like a, I don't know, tiptoe around it kind of a thing.
Well, I mean, in my experience being raised in Utah and around the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints,
Hmm.
suicide doesn't have a great perspective.
Right.
Like it's not thought of very well. And growing up, at least when I was young, I feel like it was a lot more pressed that it was like black and white.
Hmm.
The actions were black and white of somebody. And it wasn't until I got older, and really it wasn't until the only let me back up a little. The only experience I have with suicide is Garrett Keeps, who was my friend
Oh, yeah.
in high school.
Okay.
And I mean, we were great friends in high school, hung out all the time. He joined the Merchant Marines and moved to New York. And I went on a mission, got married, everything. Our lives kind of separated.
Hmm.
And we still talked a bit here and there and stuff. And I visited him a couple times in California when he finally moved out there with Betty. But so I wasn't close, is what I'm trying to get at there. But that's my experience with it. And it wasn't until then that I realized that like you can't know what's going on inside somebody's brain. Like you might be told that suicide is wrong, and I agree when you say the word suicide is wrong,
Hmm.
but that doesn't mean you understand what's going on, and it doesn't mean you understand and have a grasp of what's the argument and the fight and the struggle that's going on with that person. And so I don't think I could make a clear definition on whether it's right or wrong.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't, I don't think that, I don't think that it would be accurate or fair to say right or wrong. I don't think I don't, it's so much more complex
Yeah.
than right or wrong.
Hmm.
So to try to categorize it or put it into a bucket of one of those just feels very um, inaccurate and not fair. Just because, like you said, you just don't know the complexities of what's going on in someone's
Yep.
life and in their own, not even in their life, because, I didn't know Garrett super well, but I did know of him and Betty from high school. But
Hmm.
like even in my brother's life, he had a family and
Yeah.
kids and, you know, we saw them a lot. We're a pretty
Hmm.
close family. So, and he had his own struggles with substance abuse and addiction. And that's the thing with suicide is it's so complex. You cannot just say like, well, this is why, or, it's, you can't nail it down to one thing.
Yeah.
Um, which is hard because, you know, on this side of things, when you're a loss survivor, that's all you're trying to do is make sense of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, what if this, or what if
Yeah.
that,
People
or
want a
what?
reason
Yes.
or
Like, why would
something.
he? Yes. So on that side of things, of course, that's what you're trying to do. Like, you're trying to be like, well, it was this, or it was this, or it was this. But the truth is, there are actually so many data points and studies that say like it is never just one factor.
Yeah.
There's usually likely like a mental illness compounded with alcoholism or substance abuse or trauma, or so many facets that just affect the human psyche.
Yeah.
And so yeah, to say that it's right or wrong, I guess I'm like you, like that's how I was raised, was LDS, and I was taught the same thing.
Yeah.
It was actually even more harsh than that. Like, I was taught people who died by suicide weren't going to heaven. Right.
Yeah. Like they committed a murder that couldn't be repented
Yes.
of, more or less. So it's like, well, there's no chance, but
Yeah.
and
Which I disagree with.
yeah.
Completely. And I don't
Yeah.
even know where the church's stance is on it now, because we don't any longer go to church. But I either way, maybe they've changed their stance. I don't know, but I don't agree either way.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that after Caden passed, it made me just question so much. Like, what is causing people to do this? Why? Like, how can we prevent it? How can we make a difference? Like, how do I help people who are struggling? And then even the other flip side of that, like, how do we talk about it? Because maybe this was from my own perspective, I felt like even in Sanpete County, it was something that people felt this incredible amount of, like, I don't know that it's shame, but like embarrassment, or like
Negativity, if nothing else.
around like a
Yeah.
conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, having a conversation about it is hard.
Yeah.
And it is hard and it is uncomfortable. But those are the conversations that need to be happening so that a
Right.
change can happen, a change can shift,
Yeah,
but
and you mean like conversation about it between two people, like not talking about it in general, but you mean like when you see something, speak to that
yes.
person.
Yeah.
Even if it's an awkward conversation,
Yes.
say something.
Yeah. Like, so like I was saying, after he passed, I was like, I gotta figure this out. Like, I want to understand it,
Yeah.
which obviously there are psychologists and so
Right.
many well-qualified people who understand it so much more than me. But I just like found myself just like eating up everything I could find about mental health and
Yeah.
just all the different things of it. And how do you recognize the signs in someone? Like, because before Caden passed, don't know if I would have even known what signs might have been. Actually, I know
Yeah.
I didn't. And not only did I not know what the signs were, I would not have known what to do to help him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, if he would have come to me and said, hey, like, I'm having thoughts of suicide, or I've been having thoughts of suicide and I have a plan, like, I would not have known how to respond.
Right.
And so anyways, it just kind of catapulted me into this learning environment of
Mm-hmm.
what are the signs and what can we do to prevent it, and what do we have as resources here, which aren't
Yeah.
awesome.
Right.
And they're improving, though, I will say. And like, what changes can we make? Because it's been something even here in Sanpete, like, that's been pretty prevalent. I mean, and just in general in the United States, it's like the second leading cause of death, ages 10 to 14, which is insane.
Horrible. Yeah. Horrible.
And then 25 to 34,
Mm-hmm.
second leading cause of death, and a lot in males. I
Yep.
mean, and you could get into the demographics of all of it, veterans and
Yep.
and healthcare workers and construction workers are one of the highest. Like,
Mhm.
miners and construction workers are some of the highest demographic of people.
All right, we're back.
We're back.
So we were just talking about demographics of people that this affects, and how high the demographics, like how high of a percentage it affects them,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And that I have some experience in that just because I was in the military. And so we focused a lot on this because that's a big demographic that gets hit with this regularly. And so, yeah.
So when you say you focused a lot on it, what do you mean by that?
So there's one thing that the government is really good at, and it's policy.
Okay.
Right.
That's true. That's like maybe the one thing.
Yeah. Like, it's like the most mature business that you'll ever run into. It has a policy for everything.
Okay.
So, but one of the things we always had to do was we had our trainings that we had to do, and the only training we had to do more often than annually, pretty much. There was a couple, but the main one was resilience. And resiliency training was always done because of this topic, because of suicide. And as a soldier, and especially as a new soldier, you're like, well, resilience is easy. Like, I just made it through all these hard things and stuff. It's not that big a deal. But you start looking at the people around you that have been around for a while, and it's never easy. No. You know, like, they're tough guys, and they do tough things, and they do hard things. But sometimes I wonder if that's not part of the issue.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes when you're willing to do the hard stuff, it like leaves a mark on you that you can't rub off. And so it creates that scar, typically associated with just a mental problem, PTSD or depression. Yeah, exactly. And it just makes it where, anything else is just compounding. When you do that professionally, and then you come home and you're having problems because you've been gone for a year, and your wife is, you haven't been there, so she's talking to other people, or your kids don't even know who you are, and you come back and then you're trying to integrate from that high stress to a normal stress environment. Like, it's not the same. We're not wired to necessarily do that all the time. I think at least not all of us.
Well, and I don't feel like we're wired to like shut one off,
right?
To allow, like it's almost impossible to do that. And yeah, I don't know I don't know off the top of my head what the statistics are exactly for like military and vet and even men, because that statistic is much higher. But I think it has a lot to do with all of the stresses like you just described, but also like this thing that most of our generation and generations before us have always been taught and was kind of learned, that like even if you're struggling, especially as a man, like we don't talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Be the man.
There's this
Puff
stigma
chest.
like you're fine, like pull up your bootstraps and let's get on with life,
Yeah.
Which lends itself a lot of really good things in life, but also it creates problems, So
yeah. Well, and like we were talking, the thing with suicide for me, and this is how I looked at it when I was in the military, is like, you don't know the hardest thing someone's been through, and you can't say that their hard thing is harder or less hard than yours.
Right.
1,000%. No matter what we think, when we look at someone else, because I've done this before, and I've looked at somebody and said, you thought that was hard. And like, that's just like a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter.
No.
Their difficulty is the same as your difficulty in their mind.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's so much dependent on like their own lived experience up to that point, right? Yeah. Like, we have no idea what their childhood looked like, what traumas they may have endured, what things might be going on just chemically inside of their brains, or like there's just so many things we really have no idea what people are going through. And it's just so important I always say it's important to be kind, but even more so like having been just like learning about this and like trying to figure out how to make a difference in what seems like almost you can't make a difference in almost, is like not only just being kind, but like being willing to like really acknowledge that people struggle and being okay with having hard conversations about it. Because that's what's going to make the change. But it's so hard for people because it's uncomfortable. Yeah. Like, can you imagine, like, I can't even imagine sitting down with my brother who has passed and saying like before what I know now, I feel more comfortable having conversations about it because I've familiarized myself with it. But then like me sitting down and like knowing all the warning signs, because that's what like studies show, if you see warning signs and you actually are concerned, like actually asking someone, have you thought about suicide? Or are you thinking about taking your life? Actually asking them, that doesn't make them want to, because if they're going to, they're already there.
Right. Yeah.
But like, imagine, I could not imagine having had sat down with Caden and asked him that question. If he had said yes, I wouldn't have been able, like, I would have been in shock.
Right. Yeah. Like, how do you go from there?
Like, well, now what?
Yeah.
You know? And so, like, in the classes that I go and do, like at the high school, we talk about that, how, you know, you can ask people, are you having thoughts of suicide? Or have you thought about a plan? Or any of those questions. And I always tell the kids, like, yes, it's important to get yourselves comfortable enough to be having hard conversations with people that you care about. But if you aren't prepared for them to say yes, don't ask the question.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because it's just going to not help.
Yeah, because you don't want to ask the question to have them say yes, and then the space that you're trying to create for a conversation becomes unsafe.
Right.
And they don't feel like they can open up anymore, or they may feel ashamed, or, you know, so many things that could compound it. And so it's just interesting, you know. But it would be so great if we could, as a society, just learn the warning signs and become comfortable. And I think part of that is realizing, you know, like you said, like, everybody struggles with something. We are all human, so none of us are exempt from that. Not a single one of us.
Yeah.
And yeah, it looks different for everybody, but if we're willing to recognize that and just like be open about it and realize that, like, maybe that one, hey, like, how are you doing? Or, hey, I noticed you're struggling. You know, maybe that one gesture literally changed the outlook of someone's life.
Yeah.
And you'll just never know.
Yeah. How many times have you had just like the thought of, oh, I should text that person. It's been a long time. And you text them, and like, it might not have stopped suicide, but I know everyone's experienced it where they've done that and they've been like, man, I really wanted to talk to you.
Yeah.
Or, man, that was nice.
Yes.
You know?
And like, maybe they just reply and then, you know, it's a really short thing, but you don't know where they were at when you said it.
Right.
So like, maybe that really changed their lives.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's interesting.
So what did this push you to do? Like, what are you doing now? All of the things.
So the year after Caden passed, we were just mostly like, well, what's something that we could do to like raise awareness around suicide prevention and like also remember him, kind of, right?
Yeah.
And actually his wife and her sister were like, well, maybe we could do a snowmobile thing. And anyway, it was just like the logistics of that were kind of hard. And anyway, one day I just called my mom and dad. I'm like, what if we do like a ball tournament? Because Caden loved to play ball. Some of the best memories I have with him are playing Lamb Day softball over in Fountain Green. But so we just did the ball tournament. And the first year, it was just that. It was just like raising awareness and remembering Caden. And we had an incredible turnout. And I was like, well, what if we could do this every year and raise some money? Because I felt like personally for me, when Caden passed, there weren't resources available for like suicide loss survivors or, you know, and at that time there wasn't as many therapy places, even like now there are quite a few.
Yeah, now there's more.
But I just found myself like, there's no resources here. Like, what are we doing to be proactive in preventing people from getting to this point? And the truth was there really wasn't a lot, if anything. So we started this tournament, and then I was like, well, what if we could do this and raise some money and give it directly back into our community? Because there are a lot of like nationally funded things, you know, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention is huge, and they do Out of the Darkness walks. And
there he goes again.
Oh, well, we don't have to record.
We could record we can do just voice.
Just voice?
Yeah. We'll just do a voice and then finish off
just
that
keep
way.
Going?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, AFSP, like they're a huge one, and they nationally do all sorts of things, Out of the Darkness walks, different, tables and booths and trying to raise awareness. But I was like, what if we could do it and just keep everything here? Because we're in such a rural community that our resources are limited, and also we kind of get forgotten, if that makes sense.
Totally. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
We're not in Salt Lake or Utah County.
Yeah.
And so like, it's just not as prone to receive like national help or like,
Right.
You
Well,
know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
yeah, I wouldn't say forgotten. I mean, I agree that's how it feels, like
Yeah.
we're forgotten. But really, it's just like, do you help the 150,000 or the
Yes.
millions, or do you help the 25,000? You know,
Yes.
like that's the problem is
Yeah.
like we're small. And so we have to do it on our own.
Yeah.
We have to help.
Yeah.
So,
So anyway, so then the next year I was like, well, let's do it again. And just again, incredible. The first year, actually, we held it on the anniversary of when Caden had passed in October.
oh, that's cool.
And it rained and snowed. And the weather was terrible. And I remember just thinking like, oh my gosh, this is not good. And it was so fun to see because all the people who came, a lot of the people, actually that first year, I think that most of the people that participated and brought teams were just local, like people who knew us or, and everyone was such good sports about it. Like the energy and the vibe and the attitude was, even though the weather was crap, it was crap. Like we shouldn't have even been kept playing. Bless Stephanie, because she probably yelled at me because the fields were probably all tore up because it was like mud. It was crazy. But everyone just had such a good attitude, and that was like really cool to kind of be a part of that and witness that and just like the community aspect of it. And so then I was like, well, let's keep doing it. Let's see if we can, not only because my biggest thing in that first year, we brought a speaker in, Taryn Hyatt, who's been in suicide prevention work for years and years, and had her kind of like speak on suicide. And it's tricky because like you're at the softball field, so like the venue
Like
doesn't
where you
really
set up.
yeah, it's not really cohesive for that kind of thing. But I wanted to just like bring the community together. Like, how do we bring the community all together for this one goal? And then like maybe that'd be really cool if we could raise some money to put back into the community specifically for mental health and suicide prevention. And so then we did it another year, and I think it was after the second year we ended up bringing in Jody Carrington into the school district. So Play to Stay is the organization that we created. It's a 501c3.
Oh, sweet.
And so through that, then we were able to like kind of get donations and different things just because of having the nonprofit. Anyway, after that second year, we helped the school district bring in, and she went in and taught all the teachers about like mental health and different things. And then also did like a community night.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
I think I remember that.
Yeah. And then so this will be our 5th year we're doing it. And, every year it just kind of keeps snowballing, like things keep coming out of the woodwork. And I mean, I would love for it to just keep going and grow insanely, but I'm also just like really content with, where it's going. Like I'm not in a rush. Like I'm not like grow,
Right.
I just am really grateful that like, as we continue to just kind of keep doing it and like remembering Caden. I mean, that's my why, right? Like I just wish I could have done something to change the outcome of that,
Right.
But so we keep doing it and things keep coming out of the woodwork. So as an organization, Play to Stay, I go in and teach all the grades at the high school. I got trained through American Foundation for Suicide Prevention to do presentations like specifically geared toward the youth. And so we go in and talk about mental health and how we care for our own mental health, because you can't take care of other people if you aren't taking care of yourself first. And what it looks like, what are the warning signs of suicide, and how do you have hard conversations with people, and just things that I didn't have in my arsenal. I mean, do you remember talking about that in high school?
No. Nope. The first time I ever talked about anything like this was in the military.
Yeah. It was never talked about when I was at high school. So I do think bridges are being built and gaps are being crossed already in prevention, and it's incredible to see. But so we go in and do that. I'm also trained in another one from American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. It's called Talk Saves Lives, that I want to be able to offer just like to the community.
Okay.
Like it would probably just be like a one night thing. Like if people want to come and learn, like how do I have conversations? Like what are the warning signs? And I'm hoping to do that this winter. So we do that. We've partnered with some of the local like therapy places.
Mm-hmm.
So if there are people who go in and maybe, don't have insurance or can't meet their deductible or something like,
Yeah.
and they are really in need. And we've kind of left that up to the therapists and
Okay.
like the workers, because it's all very confidential, right? Like they can't share information with
Yeah.
me.
Right.
But like if someone comes in and they feel like they're a good fit, they're struggling with their mental health or having thoughts of suicide, but they can't afford the treatment, then Play to Stay has kind of like this contract with them where we're like, okay, well, like you say if they're fit for that, and then we'll step in and cover costs for that. So we've
Mm-hmm.
used some of the funds for that. We are helping. We sponsored the teen center at the high school. Did you hear about that?
I don't think
The
so.
teen center. So actually I don't know exactly all the funding that they got, but it was from the state initially to build the teen center at the high
Mm-hmm.
school. So it's a place where,
Is it in the high school?
yes,
Okay.
it's like down by the auxiliary gym, kind of
Oh,
like
okay.
they took out the part of the boys' locker room and like made it
Oh.
this. So it's got like a couple of couches and a little like mini kitchen and then a bathroom and shower and stuff like that. So, and I'm sure I'm missing all of the goals of what the teen center's purpose is, but it's basically a place like where if there are kids whose basic needs aren't being met, which it's actually, that's another thing that's been really eye-opening is like, I know that we're in a rural area and I know that I've always known people have struggles,
Mm-hmm.
but it's insane the amount of kids who just don't eat because they don't have food
Yeah.
or don't have proper shelter or beds to sleep on or clothing or, like
Right.
the needs are actually really great. So the teen center is kind of a bridge for that too. It's like a place where kids could go like after school, or even I think they are open sometimes during school. I'm not sure what all the hours are, but basically where they can go and get their basic needs met if they're not being met at home. So like they'll provide like food and snacks and
I
a
know they
shower.
always sent food home with my kids on the weekends.
Yeah.
They always had bags of food if the kids need it or anything.
Yes. And they still do that too.
Good. Okay.
But so Play to Stay kind of jumped in on that just because from a mental health standpoint, like if your basic needs aren't being met as a human, then your mental health is going to suffer,
Yeah.
greatly. And likely the link of those two, even if maybe you're not experiencing mental health illness or, struggles initially, like basic needs for humans, food,
Yeah.
shelter, those are all super important things. And so we kind of jumped in on that and are helping a little bit there. And then we also do scholarships for the seniors. We do two of them every year. And I wanted going into that, like we talked about earlier, like college is important, yes, but also like trades are important. And
Education is
yes,
important. No matter how you wanna
education.
put it.
Yes, I love that. And so, and Caden was a lineman,
Mm-hmm.
so tradesman. And so we do two. And one of them is Caden Collard Scholarship, and the other one is just a Play to Stay. And the way that they do it, because they ask you, it's interesting when you want to provide scholarships, they say like, well, what criteria do you want them to meet,
Mm-hmm.
And typically, GPA and all of those things kind of play a factor. And I was like, I want to do a scholarship, but I want the kids who aren't typically getting them. Like, I don't care necessarily about the GPA. I want kids to submit an essay and say, so there's two, right? Like the Play to Stay one is geared more towards someone who might be going out in a mental health field
Mm-hmm.
in college. So they write an essay and say like, this is why mental health is important to me. This is why I'm going out into the field. And then the other one is like, I want them to write an essay of something that they've overcome, mentally, that has changed or shifted their life in such a way. And so the criteria for it is kind of interesting and different, but I feel like it just provides a opportunity for maybe kids who might fall under the radar otherwise in
Yeah,
receiving
for
help,
sure.
in continuing in their education. So I'm really proud of that. I think it's a good thing. And I think it gives kids a chance who maybe wouldn't have one otherwise.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's all we're doing. And we just keep,
That's all.
I don't feel like it's enough. I always feel like it's like, you know, I want to be very transparent. And it's not like we're raking in the money, right?
Right.
Play
yeah,
to stay.
yeah.
It's it genuinely is a nonprofit, and we just put all the money that we get back in
Yeah.
wherever we can help, you know?
Well, and like you
And-
said, we're in a small area. Like
Yeah.
it's not like there's a ton of wealth to just
No.
rake in stuff anyway.
No, there's
you know?
not. And so, yeah, it's just, I just keep going, and I just have to trust that whatever is meant to be, whatever, you know, comes out of the woodwork and feels like it is supportive of mental health and suicide prevention in our community is where we'll kind of be led. And we did put a hope sign out in the park. Have you seen that?
I did. I've
Yeah.
seen that. Yep.
So that was really fun. We've had Corey, actually my husband, and one of his friends helped build that. And it's pretty cool. I like it. It's just, and then we paint rocks and do like
Yep.
positive
We
messaging.
walked around there and I'm like, what the heck does that rock say?
Yeah. Yeah. So every year at the tournament, we paint more rocks and let
Oh,
people
cool.
write on them. So we'll kind
Yeah.
of like refurbish it every year. But
That's awesome.
yeah, just little things. I mean, none of it feels world shifting, but Corey is actually always really good to remind me, like, you might not know. You might not
Yeah.
ever hear of someone who's like, this really shifted my life or this saved my life, but like, you don't know that you're not. And
Yeah.
so I just keep
Plus,
Keep
it's worth
living
it
with
if
that.
just one person.
just
has
one.
helped.
If it is just
know.
one, then it's worth it.
Yeah.
Hands down.
So, how can people get involved with your stuff specifically, like State of Play and anything like that?
Yeah. So right now we only just have that one event.
Okay.
And I mean, I have had people reach out and just like make donations to our nonprofit. But other than that, like there's not a lot of involvement yet. I hope that eventually like we can make it grow, because there are a lot of people who do want to be involved, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't ever want to turn anyone away. Like
Right, yeah.
I want it to be a community building thing. It's just like, it's a softball tournament also right now. That's pretty much the only event we have. So it's like, you can only have so many helping hands,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
But so people can donate, obviously.
Okay.
It's all like,
Do you have a
tax write-off
website
and
or
that.
anything like that where you
We
post
do have a
things?
website.
Okay.
But mostly it's all on social media.
Social media, okay.
Yes. So Instagram, I think it's at play_to_stay.
Okay.
And we post everything on Instagram. So it's even better probably than the website.
That way, if an event comes up, it'll be on there so you can get people to come and help if they want
Yes.
to. Okay.
And another thing for like lost survivors, because that was another focus that I wanted. We do hope boxes for, I should have brought one to show you actually, because they're pretty cool. The inmates at Gunnison prison have like this opportunity if they, I don't know how it all works, but like if they're on good behavior for so long, then they get to like be in this class
Okay.
that teaches them how to do woodworks, right?
Oh,
Like build things.
Cool.
Anyway, so I had a friend that was working there and he's like, what could I do? Like, is there anything we could do? I'm like, actually, if you could build these boxes. So they built these incredible boxes. They're like wood boxes. They're pretty. And they like overlaid a thing that's like an inspirational quote on the top. And anyway, we fill it up with like resources, and we do like a book about grief and a journal and a candle and just some things, and then send them out to lost survivors.
Awesome.
It's free right now, as long as I can keep funding it.
Right. Yeah.
And so like I've just had like some of them are people that I know, and I'll be like, okay, I'm going to send them a box. I've had a few people be like, hey, I heard that you're doing this. Like I have a sister who lost a brother to suicide. Can I send her a box? So
Yeah.
we're doing that too. And I hope to get that on the website soon, but just something that I haven't really promoted a lot, but
That's great.
yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome just
So-
to get people's involvement.
Yeah.
So kind of going back to ideas of how this came about and what it is. Do you feel like, what's the best way to put this? Do you feel like nutrition and food and things in our atmosphere are having an issue with that? Like, is it causing, because there's been a rise, right, of suicide? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like
I mean,
more
so
people.
the
But
CDC data is like retroed, right?
Yeah.
It's tricky because I think the most recent is probably like 2023,
yeah,
2022. But yeah, there was a rise.
even from before that though, like if you were to look back, like in the 50s, 60s, and 70s
Oh, definitely.
versus
Yes.
2000 and above,
Yeah.
like that's our generation, and I don't want to say we're wusses, but
Yeah.
like something's changed,
Yeah.
and I don't know what it is. I don't feel like it's anything that the people are less resilient, unless it's because of an environmental factor.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never thought about it in aspects of like food or
Just
how that
yeah,
might
just like
affect.
anything like nutrition wise. Do you think that plays a key role in any of it? I mean, obviously, like you were saying, if you don't have your nutrition met,
Oh, yeah,
if you're
right.
not getting food, obviously
Right.
there's an issue.
Your basic needs. So like, yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't know if I would say nutrition, but like physical health.
Physical
Let's
health.
say like physical health,
Okay.
right? Because physical health and mental health are kind of like two peas in a pod,
Yep.
right? Like if you have good physical health, your mental health is probably a little stronger than someone who doesn't have good physical health. Their mental health maybe struggles a little bit more, I definitely think there's a link there. I mean, I don't know the science behind it by any means,
Right.
but I definitely think there's a link for sure between physical health and mental health, whether that be what you're putting into your body, whether it's food or drugs or alcohol,
Right.
like there's a whole spectrum of things that you could be putting into your body, or whether it's how you're taking care of your body too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that plays the chemicals that are released just from moving our bodies is insane.
Yeah.
And so like they do go hand in hand, I would say. It'd be interesting to know like what the correlation. I've never.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of just associate anything mental health with some sort of physical aspect, because like you're saying, you're so physically tied to your mental health that if you can improve your physical health in any manner, if it's more nutrition or better nutrition or exercising, whatever it is, it's going to improve your mental health,
Yeah.
and so
I mean,
I
and that
just
can even
don't-
be something as simple as like going outside, going
Right,
for
yeah.
a walk. Like it,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be this extreme, like I'm on a diet or I'm
hitting the
hitting the
gym
gym 5 days a
yeah.
week. Like it could be literally something as simple as going and putting your feet in the grass and letting the sun hit your body.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Those are
benefits
huge
of that.
for people.
Yes. Yeah. So I definitely think there's a huge correlation between it for sure.
Plus, I feel like,
Yeah.
you get outside and all of a sudden there's other people around, and then
Yeah.
you're talking to somebody,
Yeah.
and, like
You're not
it's a
like
whole
stuck
thing.
in this
Yeah.
isolated. Yeah.
Behind doors and everything.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen any data on that either. That's just like a
Yeah.
personal speculation, I guess you could say. But, what have you seen? And I mean, this is all over the place, but what have you seen in respect to social media? It's so hard because this world revolves around social media.
Yeah. I mean, again, this is my own opinion.
Sure. Yeah.
My own opinion. There is
Yeah.
nothing backing what I'm about to say. But I'll even speak for me personally. How about we do that?
Sure.
Social media is an incredible tool for so many things. I mean, that's how we promote Play to Stay, right? That's how I keep up with friends that I haven't talked to for years, right?
Yeah.
So it is such an incredible development and tool. But even personally for myself, like I find myself like getting like sucked into the vortex of it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm an adult. My prefrontal cortex is completely developed. So as far as like youth and how it affects them, like, I mean, studies are already coming out of the harmful effects of it because you can see
Yeah.
they're combating it already, right? But I think we haven't even hit the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. Shout out to Governor Cox passing that law.
Yes, no
You know?
kidding. Yes,
That's
because
huge.
it's insane, and it actually like having a kid in high school and like the pressures of that because so many kids have it.
Yeah.
And it's hard too because they have it because the high school posts on
Yeah.
social media.
The teams.
The
like
teams
if you
are
want
on
to be on a
social media.
team and stuff.
Yes, and so it's really hard. Like even now, like she'll be like, "Why can't I have Instagram?" And I'll be like,
Yep.
And I do think that there's a balance, because I do feel like, and Corey and I, talk about this a lot, but I don't want to just like have her graduate with no experience, because that is the world that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
And I want her to have some guidance
Right.
while she's with us of how to navigate all of that. I think that the disservice is when kids just get handed a phone
Yeah.
with no restriction and no guidance. And that is where the damage gets done.
Yeah. I mean, we,
And even as adults, we do
Yeah.
this comparison thing.
Right.
It is impossible not to. We are all human. Like, there's not one person who has social media that can say, like, they didn't see someone else's post and think, like, oh, man, that's really cool. Or, like, oh, man, I wish I could have done that.
Yeah.
Even as adults, we do that. So I don't know.
It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't had social media. I mean, aside from like my ability to stalk on certain platforms, like I have an X account, but I don't post anything, or I don't even follow people from Stampede. It's more like for news and things. But aside from that, I haven't had social media in probably like 4 years ish.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel like I'm in the dark in some conversations, like I'll be talking to people and they're like, well, didn't you see all this? I'm like, no, I don't get on there.
But do you feel like you're missing out?
No, that's the thing is like,
See?
I'm like, I get it because I've been on there and I know what it's like to just scroll and infinite scroll and how cool it is to see things. And you can't tell me that like every other video isn't something that you're like, oh, that's a cool thing to know.
Yeah.
There's some cool information out there. Like it's there. It's like the good, better, best.
Yes.
Is this good or is it better or is it best?
Yeah. There's a friend / mentor of mine that they told their kids, if you're not creating, you're consuming.
Yeah. Dang.
So like if you're not on there creating something, you're consuming it, and that's not going to happen, which I thought was an interesting perspective, right? Like, okay, social media is great. It's a great tool if you're creating things on it to, that are healthy and positive and good. And
right. Yeah.
But if you're not creating, you're just consuming, and you're literally just taking in information faster than I think humans are meant to process information.
Yeah. Well, and it's like you see someone's face when they've been scrolling for 5 minutes and you're like, they don't even look like happy. They look like a drone.
Yeah.
Like their face is just gone.
And I'm guilty of it.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of it.
Yeah.
So.
I still do it on X every now and again, like it just happens. Like it's not, it's hard to avoid.
Yeah, it is. But I do think it does have a huge effect on everyone's mental health, especially kids. But
yeah. Do you think,
sure.
I mean, obviously it would help, but do you think it would make a substantial difference enough if it was like kids had social media, but their parents were involved in it?
I do.
And how do you think that would look?
I don't know.
That's hard, right?
It is hard, but I do think it makes a difference. But that's with everything,
right?
Which is really
like
hard because
guidance.
there are households that just, I mean, parents are doing. I truly believe with my heart of hearts, everyone is doing the best that they can with what they know how at the time.
Yeah.
And there are households who are just barely surviving, and the thought of adding something else to try to monitor or is extremely overwhelming. And so I think it's a really fine line to walk, because it goes back again. We can't walk a mile. Like, let's walk a mile in someone else's shoes and then say do better,
Right.
So.
No, and I think about how Shar was raised, for instance. She was the most free child I've ever seen in my life. Like, her parents didn't really they'd ask where she was going, but they didn't require a lot of updates or anything like that. She could just leave whenever, as long as she just told them when. And I would imagine that if she had social media at the time, her parents probably wouldn't have really restricted it, but she's also got that personality of it's not what she wants. And so even though she was free and could have done everything she wanted to do, she never wanted to do the bad thing.
Yeah.
And I see that in a couple kids, but the majority of people are probably a lot more like me, where it's like, if there is a bad thing to do, I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah.
Whether I do it or not, maybe,
right.
but I'm going to figure it out first.
Right.
So
yeah, I don't know. I mean, all of us are so different and wired so different, most people aren't wired like Shar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
There's the outlier.
Yeah.
And then there's everyone else in the world.
Yeah. Well, and Shar is great. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, it also is pretty typical teenager behavior to rebel a little bit. And,
Yeah.
you know, like it wouldn't be out of the ordinary for people to, I mean, that's how people learn. I mean,
Yeah.
by making mistakes
Right.
and figuring it out and facing the consequences. And that's how resiliency is built.
Yep.
You know, it's so hard, even as a parent, you know, you witness your kids go through these ups and downs, and you want to like pull them out of the down, back up to the
Yeah.
up. You want to like rescue
Like
them.
level it out.
Yes.
At least, you know.
Yeah. But that's where the resilience is built, is when they're in the down, when they're in the
Yeah.
low, you know? And so if we continue to pull our kids out and rescue them, which isn't what our parents did, right?
Yeah. They just kind of let her go.
And so if we continue to just do that, like we're really doing a disservice to ourselves and to our kids, because we aren't helping them build that resilience.
It's
that
like
they
you need to stand there with them in the low and be there to help, but you can't like just remove it.
Right.
You know,
Can't
it
take
has
away.
to stay there. Yeah, it's hard because like this topic really, it like walks that line of like the refiner's fire. You know, like that's where you're made, is in the difficulty, but it can go too far. And how do you find that line for you? And how do you see the line in other people?
Yeah.
And making sure they're taken care of. You
Right.
know?
And I think it just comes down to like being willing to, maybe it is like literally looking up from our phones, you know,
It's something that simple.
like just being willing to see other people in their struggles. And then also, if you are the one struggling, being willing to ask for help. Like people want to help.
Yeah.
People want to help. But if someone doesn't know that you need the help, then they can't help,
Yeah.
you know? So being willing to just be brave enough to ask for help is also so huge. But
How do you feel like service in general has changed your life from then till now? Like being in service of other people?
from when Caden passed
Yeah.
to now,
Like from when you started doing this till now.
oh, wow. You know, I would say it's just been a huge eye opener for me. I mean, growing up, we always were serving people. I mean, we're in a huge LDS community, so
Right,
like that's
right.
basically what the church
Service
does.
happens every Wednesday.
Oh yes, all the time. Yeah, yeah. So service is not really anything that I would say is like new to me, but this has just opened my eyes so much to serving like with compassion and
Yeah.
understanding, right? It's not just a checkbox
Yep.
to check off. It's like really seeing people, really caring about their own situations, removing my own judgments from their circumstances, because who am I to judge what
Yeah.
their circumstance is when I don't even know even a fraction of their life, you know? And so I would say it's just changed the way that I perceive people who are in struggle, you know? It's really shifted my heart into more of a compassionate place. And there are still days I struggle, you know?
For sure, yeah.
I'm still human. I still place judgments on people when I shouldn't. And it is what is, but like every day I'm trying to be better, to do better, you know?
Yeah.
And there are still times when things come up with Caden, you know, and his passing, and like, what could I have done different? And I actually saw a thing the other day. It said, what did it say? Grief is like glitter. So when the loss happens, it's like someone just pours glitter out everywhere, and it's just like raining, and you're like doing everything you can to sweep it up, to clean up the mess. But if you've ever had glitter spilled anywhere, like you can sweep it up, but like days, months, weeks, years later, you'll find a speck in the carpet, or you'll find a speck in like a sweater that you were wearing, or in a completely different place that the glitter has just traveled with you, and you find it.
In the
you know?
tissue after you blow your nose.
Yes, like
Like it's
just,
everywhere.
Like, everywhere.
Yeah.
Glitter gets everywhere. And how interesting it is that like grief is that way too.
Yeah, that's a really cool
Yeah,
visual.
I thought so. And so yeah, like I guess for me, what happened when Caden died is it was a really, really hard thing for me and for my family. And instead of and maybe I'm wrong here, but I feel like I just made a choice. Like, I can either let this harden my heart and choose to like focus on the negative things of it, or I can still carry the grief. And when I find a little speckle of glitter, like, oh, okay, somebody needs me to text them today. Or, okay, like, what can we do to make this a happier place, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's just changed my perspective, maybe, of what it looks like to care about people and serve people from a better place in my heart.
That's awesome. I love hearing those words. That's the most
I don't know if that
beautiful
made
thing.
any sense, but
No, just I feel like that's like the biggest thing that we have an issue with, and it's nothing new, but just loving people around us. You know, like I feel like that the social media has caused the divide, and so you don't see the person for the person, you see them for the words that they post online, or the picture
or
that
their
is,
highlight reel.
yeah, that's better than everything that you've done or whatever. You know, like you're not seeing them for who they are, and if we can just get back into the focus of like seeing a person, man, it changes everything.
It does.
You know,
Changes your whole perspective.
yeah, and that the first time that you go help somebody when you know that they need it, and you're like just happen to be able to be the one that's there that gets to do it, you know, the feeling you get from that
Yeah.
is phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, and every time you do it after that, you're like, this is pretty dang awesome.
It is.
You know, and it's just love. Like it's not anything crazy.
It's not. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy either, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to go have a softball tournament. You don't have to go do any of these big things. Like, it's the simplest things.
Yeah.
The simplest things.
Yeah, it's
You
like
know?
those events are like the celebration of the service.
Like, everyone come together and let's feel that we are all in this together. We're never, ever alone.
Yep.
Ever, ever. But like, in your everyday lives, the little things, that's what matters.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's awesome.
yeah.
Oh, I'm trying to
Yeah.
think. Was there anything else that I wanted to ask you about that? How has it affected your family, like your nuclear family?
What does that mean? My kids?
Like your husband and your kids and stuff, yeah.
Okay. Bless my husband's heart, because initially it was really hard for me. And actually I had just had Collins, who's our baby. She was, let's see. She was just over a year. So I was still kind of in the thick of like the postpartum thing, and which never was really that intense for me, but
It still is something.
it's still a thing.
Yeah.
And I was not awesome after initially. So Corey really held me just so well in that space and really just helped with the kids. And I do feel like it did affect my kids quite a bit, especially Cooper. There was a really big shift in Cooper physically and emotionally after Caden had passed. And I would attribute that a lot to I was so in my own grief that I couldn't hold space or wasn't properly holding space for them to process their grief because they lost their uncle too,
Right.
you know. And
Well, it's like you were saying, you have to like secure your own oxygen mask before helping others.
yeah,
And when you're in those positions, you don't think about the oxygen mask.
Yeah.
You know, you're stuck thinking about the situation, and it puts blinders on.
yeah. I mean, it's so for so long I was so stuck in like guilt,
Yeah.
you know, of things I did and didn't do when my brother was alive, because we had a close relationship for a long time, and then like towards the last few years of his life we didn't. You know, like I had mentioned, he had some things with substance abuse, and I had set some boundaries that were hard for both of us, and so it got a little rocky before he passed, and so there was so much guilt, just so many different emotions. It's really, it's so hard to put into words, but like the spectrum of emotion that you experience is complex and insane.
Yeah.
So I do feel like it did affect my my kids and Corey and I in some not so good ways. But I also, like, they are also a part of Play to Stay, you know, they come and help me
Yeah.
do the tournaments and they see the things that we do. And, you know, and so I'm hopeful that that shift is also helping them.
Yeah. Well, you're building that resilience too,
yeah.
you know, like you're going through the hard, and luckily you hopefully caught it enough that you can actually help your kids get the resilience.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's hard to tell,
It is.
but that's what you hope as a parent,
Yeah.
at least, you know.
I mean, again, it goes back to like doing the best that we can.
Exactly.
You
yeah.
know.
Yep.
So it was really hard, and it still is. There's still hard days. And then actually Corey lost his dad not very long after I lost my brother. So there was just this period of like really intense grief within our little nuclear family. And I mean, we worked through it. I think we're closer because of it.
Yeah.
It's definitely had its ups and downs, but I think the hardest part too is just like my parents. It affected my parents a lot. You know, I can't imagine losing a child.
Oh, and your parents are awesome.
Yeah, they are. They are really awesome. Thank you.
And I've only known them since then, really.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, so
Yeah. No,
still awesome.
I'm really lucky. I have some incredible parents, but yeah, so I mean, I can't even imagine losing a child. I don't want to ever know how that feels, but yeah, and it's hard being one of their, you know, another one of their children and knowing how much it's hurting them. And, you know, it definitely changed the dynamic of our get-togethers and our families.
sure,
of
yeah.
course, you know, how it would be weird if it didn't.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're all kind of, again, we all have our hard days.
Yeah.
But we all, for the most part, you know, try to live in such a way that it honors Caden's life instead of dwelling on the loss of him. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, great. I think that's probably been like an hour and a half or 2 hours now.
Yeah, we could talk forever.
So thanks for your time tonight. I really appreciate it.
Oh my gosh.
And
I
it's
really
been fun.
appreciate you asking me to come.
Yeah.
I was so nervous.
Oh, don't worry
But
about it. And as
it
soon
was
as you
great.
have like this massive, you know, not our charity that you're doing, we'll have you back
Okay.
so you can tell us about
Deal.
everything that's changed.
Yes. And if,
All right.
yeah, I'm just grateful because I'm grateful also. I just want to say this.
Sure.
Number one, for you thinking of me and having me come on. But truthfully, it is just like so close to my heart. Like so close to my heart. And I hope that the community knows and feels that. And also like just to have them know like what we're doing is really important. Like I love the transparency. So I
Yeah.
really, really appreciate it.
Well, it's kind of
so
what
great.
made me think of you. It's just how much you emulate that now, like the love and the everything.
thank
Like
you.
that's what I'm like, what made her different? You know, how did that change?
Oh my gosh.
Like we were talking earlier, you know, like,
Yeah.
oh, that's different,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, I appreciate it. So
Yeah, I
thank you
appreciate
very
it too.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye, everybody.